Hello. Yeah, did your check bounce? Why? Because what? Because okay, I'll call you back. I'm not starting a share now. Okay. Okay. I can call you back then. I'm starting a share. Okay. Everybody hear me?
Good morning, Rabbi Baruch.
They start a new thing with I have to give you permission to enter the meeting.
Yeah.
They start a new thing. I guess there were certain breaches in the.
Yeah, they're finding even with the teaching, they're finding that people are crashing into classes that they're not supposed to be in. So they are now providing more security.
People want to learn more Torah. They're crashing into shiurim. What can you imagine?
I have this one guy. I have no idea who he is. He comes in as YHH. He's by my shiurim a lot of times, but he's from my shul. Now I give a shir to other places. I don't know how he knows when he's in there. And I asked him. I said, "YHH, who are you? Please identify yourself." And then he disappeared. I don't know.
Could be competition from another Kurlo.
Could be. Ladies, I forgot to tell you that Thursday night was the Shabbos of Golden Josh. I wasn't a regular shir.
The pilpul was very good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I forgot to warn you.
Yeah, like I totally was, the thing. And the Shabbos Agadol Vort was very good. It was all very enjoyable. A good schmack.
Okay, should we give it another minute or? Oh, people are still waiting to come in.
Yeah, we only have.
I pressed admit all.
Jonathan's connecting.
Okay. Cian is
See
waiting.
Alan.
Yes, I'm here.
I have to admit everybody for some reason. But I press admit all. Admit.
But that's only if they're in the waiting room. But if they come after, then you have to admit them.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Dichvin.
So is your share still at 8:30 every night?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe will you have one tonight?
If it's a Shem, that's the plan.
Okay, yes, I'm planning on listening to.
Okay, no problem. How do I know who's in the waiting room? How does this work? Yeah, I don't know how this works.
You should be able to.
Yeah, you came on. You did have to put in a password.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
the
I
password
put.
doesn't let you in automatically.
Yeah.
No.
Well, no. Once the Rebbe was in, then I got in automatically after having put in the password.
Yeah, the same for me.
So I have to admit everybody.
I don't
I have
think
to give you permission to come in.
No, once you've given them the password, they don't need your permission.
No, they do. Ken just signed in with his password, and I have to admit him.
Yeah, Harav, you have a lot of power in your hands.
Yeah,
Use it wisely.
I have to admit you. The question if I could send you out also.
Button where you
Use it
can spell a
wisely.
person.
Okay. I gotta keep this open to make sure there's nobody else who's trying to come in. Okay. Oops. Okay, fine. Okay, very good. Okay, we're holding here middle of Siman Aleph.
Are we doing the Bechina?
I'd like to. Did I know Chazer?
Yeah. Well,
We did.
Laser and I did.
Yeah, so Don Chazer. Hopefully we get to the Bechina today, yeah. Okay, says the middle of the Mechaber in Shin Mem Aleph, Sif Aleph. We spoke about Aninus. Spoke about that Oinen is Aser Mechala Mitzvahs Amur B'Tayr. That's just Potter. He's not allowed to do it even if he wants. And then we spoke about Shabbos and Yom Tov, that there's no Aninus. up to the Tzorach L'Hachshech Al Tchum. We left off last week with the shaila about Kaddish, about saying Kaddish, and as I looked around, it seems like, to say Kaddish for a different mace is not so simple. It seems like the meaning is not to. But to say Kaddish for the mace that was nifter, if it's Shabbos, some people do, some people don't. I guess each shul is different, what their minig is. Because we saw last week, the Pischei Tshuva is not so happy with it. They said you shouldn't say Kaddish until after the Kvura. And I've seen it brought down a lot of Hagim is that we don't say after the Kvura, even if there's Shabbos in between. And on Shabbos a person goes to shul and he does daven in shul. Still there's no Kaddish after the Kvura. But then I've seen other places that write that you could say Kaddish. And if I guess it's totally the different minhagim. It's interesting because a lot of the Achreinim are trying to figure out that if you're in shul anyway, why not say Kaddish? And the reason for that is because the only reason why we say Kaddish is because the neshama goes to Gehenna, and Kaddish helps him by Gehenna. But before the Kfura, he doesn't go to Gehenna, so therefore there's no Kaddish before the Kfura.
So why does somebody who's actually sitting Shiva, let's say for example from Erev Chag, if the niftar is let's say in Chutzlaretz, when the niftar is in Israel,
that's what they say.
They bury second day Chag.
Even more than that.
I mean, it's still but
even more than that. Once you give it over, once you give over the mace, we'll see later on. Once let's say you're sitting Shiva in one place and you send the mace to Israel, you start sitting Avelut right away. You say Kaddish.
Right.
Correct.
What?
But still, but I'm saying, but from the Svara saying that the Kaddish is only based
right.
after
It's before
Kfura. So why still not saying Kaddish?
Right. It's before Kfura. Right. That's one of the riots they bring.
So why are you saying Kaddish?
Yeah.
So why are you saying Kaddish?
Yeah.
Because
So we do say Kaddish then. Then we do say Kaddish.
I know, but why?
Yeah.
So Martin,
Yeah.
for that, Mandama, why?
Yeah, because of this reason, you shouldn't be saying Kaddish. Then everyone says Kaddish.
But why do you say Kaddish on Shabbos after Kavura for this first year? If the Neshama comes out of Gehenna on Shabbos,
yeah, I was going to ask.
Why are you saying Shabbos?
Yeah, but speak about that. Also, say every Shabbos the Neshama is not in Gehenna. That's one of the riots that bring. Also, every Shabbos the Neshama is not in Gehenna.
Right.
So why are you saying Kaddish for?
Right.
Yeah. So you say it's to be Megan that he shouldn't go back. So then before Kfur also, you want the Kaddish to be a Megan. Yeah, it's not very clear. I don't have an answer to all these questions. That's why there's a lot of different minhagim, and I guess every shul has their own meaning about that. Avol saying Kaddish Shabbos before the Kfur, which is a very common shaila.
Yeah.
What I did find is that if other people are saying Kaddish, and he wants to be Mitzaref, that's for sure he could do.
Mitzaref meaning?
He wants to say Kaddish together with the other people. That he could for sure do.
Uh-huh.
Okay, now, how about, Dr. Mechamer weiter, it's by the Ches. Im Tzorach l'hachshech al atchum, kedei lasek b'tzorchei hames, chal olav aninos le'osa b'kulam mishor she'maschil l'leches, kedei l'hachshech al atchum. So here's a din, which is called l'hachshech al atchum, means a person is allowed to go on Shabbos to the Tchum Shabbos. He's allowed to walk to the Tchum Shabbos, wait there till the Zman. This way he could take care of the things, the necessities for the mace right after Shabbos. Today it's not so negeya. Today we have cars, and it takes us very short to walk to the Tchum. But those days it took some time to walk to the Tchum, and he wanted to take care of everything as quickly as possible. So there's a heter to be machshech al Tchum. That means go to the Tchum Shabbos before it gets dark outside to save time. One's allowed to do that. So if he's doing that, then aninus is chal already. The only reason why there's no aninus on Shabbos is because you're not allowed to be oisik with tzorchei hameis. But once you're allowed to be machshech al Tchum, so now it's called being oisik. 1 second, I have to let Dr. Greenberg in. Okay, sorry. Yeah, once you're being Isaac with Tzarchei HaMeis, the Hachshachal Tchum, where one is being Isaac with Tzarchei HaMeis, then the halacha is that it's already all dinei aninus. Says the Shach, Ayin Baruch Lichtenstein Ayin Aleph, fine. Okay, so that's the Hachshachal Tchum. Now, when writes it the Kavre B'Yom Tov Rishon Ayidei Amamin, if someone wants to do a kfura on the first day Yom Tov through Goyim, which is mutter through a goy to do kfura on Yom Tov, first day Yom Tov, then Aser B'Kulan is Aser on everything. Why? Because right now he's being Isaac with Tzarchei HaMes. Anytime one is being Isaac with Tzarchei HaKfura, then he's called an Einin. But Kol Shkem B'Yom Tov Sheni, V'Sho B'Yom Tov Sheni, Shehu Ba'atzma Yachal L'Kavroi, he himself could bury him. Shechalu all of Kol Dinei Aninis, then Avada he has all Dinei Aninus. So here's a big shaila in the Achronim. We'll go through it inside in the Shach in a second.
Before the shaila, just one quick question. We talked a while ago. We said about bearing on second day, but I thought at that time the Rebbe said that it was only with a goy.
Second day. No, the first day.
Second day. No. The first day is with a goy. The second day, a person could do the kfura himself. He can't dig. There's certain things you can't do. You need a goy to do for you. But there's certain things one could do himself on the second day Yom Tov.
So that's what I'm trying to understand. What does he mean? Because here he seems to be saying that the first day is with a goy, and the second day even ba'af goy.
Right. So the first day.
Would you allow that person to dig on the second day?
If I'm not mistaken, I have to look up the halachas over there. But if I'm not mistaken, the second day, Yid is not allowed to dig the kever. He's allowed to bury. He's allowed to put the mace in and fill it up. But I don't think he's allowed to dig the kever. Certain things that Yisrael cannot do himself on the second day. The first day Yisrael can't do anything.
No, I know. Because I thought the second day was with a goy, but now I see that we're saying that first day is with a goy.
So no, the first day is with a goy. The second day, a Yid is allowed to do it himself, but it's limited amount that he's allowed to do. He's not allowed to do everything.
So what is the Yisrael allowed to do on the first day?
Nothing. He's not do anything the first day, but a goy could do it.
No one's going to have a kever ready. We spoke about that. You're not
allowed to.
Yeah, so you have a goy dig it for you. If one doesn't have a kever ready, a goy is allowed to dig the kever.
So the only difference between the first day and the second day is that the Jews are allowed to do kfura and to cover the mace.
Correct. The problem with kfura is the mace is muktzah.
Right.
The mace itself is muktzah. So there's no heter to be metaltal a mace in the first day Yom Tov. So if one has a mace the first day Yom Tov, he's allowed to tell a goy to be metaltal muktzah and to do the kfura. On the second day Yom Tov, the Yisrael himself could do the actual kfura. But there's certain things he can't do, which he has to come onto a goy. That's why you'll definitely need a goy handy in order for one to do a kfura on the second day Yom Tov.
Right.
Mace is muktzah on the second day also?
Is the muktzah on the second day?
The mace would be muktzah on the second day Yom Tov also, right?
Correct. Yes, but Yisrael is allowed to move the mace on Yom Tov Sheni because we took away the Issa Muktzah in the Geya mace. And if I'm not mistaken, Yisrael is allowed to be kover and fill up the bar also. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's only that the Yisrael can't dig it on the Yom Tov Sheni. If I'm not mistaken, I'll have to check it up again. So here, where there is a din of that one's allowed to be kover a mace either through a guy or through himself, there's still aninus. Why is it still aninus? Because it's still Isaac be tzarchei hameis. Even if the guy is doing it the first day Yom Tov, who's arranging it? Who's on top of it? The Yisrael is on top of it, and therefore he's called Isaac be tzarchei hameis. And aninus starts already even the first day Yom Tov. Now, here the lashon amchaba is if he wants to. So some Rishonim want to learn that since he could, so automatically there's aninus on the first day of Yom Tov. Since one is allowed to, even though he has no intention on burying the mace on the first day Yom Tov, still there's a din aninus. And some Achronim want to learn, and this is why the Mishnah Berurah paskins, it's only if only if he has an intention to bury him b'Yom Tov Rishon. So the same thing will apply to Yom Tov Sheni. Yom Tov Sheni is the more kal. Today you won't find anybody that buries on Yom Tov Rishon. On Yom Tov Sheni, there are people that do kfura b'Yom Tov Sheni, and there are those that don't. The Moshe wasn't happy with it, because the Moshe saw that people were being over other isurim, not just the kfura, which is a big, big shaila about. People think, that's the mistake that people make. They think that a guy could do everything for you by Yom Tov Sheni, and they can't. So one of the big issues is how does one get to the Beis HaKfaris on Yom Tov Sheni? You're right that you're allowed to go ahead and do Kvura, but how do you get to the Beis HaKfaris? So what do? A guy drives them. Who says Umata that? Who says Umata for a guy to drive someone to the Beis HaKfaris on Yom Tov Sheni? Umata to be metal to the mace, Umata to do a Kvura, but that's it. We're not Mata everything.
But do you allow to metaltel met on Shabbos or on the Yom Tov?
You're not being metal to the mace on Shabbos. Mace is muktzah.
No, on Yom Tov. On Yom Tov Sheni.
Yom Tov Sheni because they were Mata the Issa Muktzah for Kvura Sameis. So Moshe said, since people were being so mazalzel in Isurim, so he said better not to be kover the mace on Yom Tov Sheni. So those who are not kover a mace on Yom Tov Sheni, it could be that it's like Yom Tov Rishon where we're not kover mason today, and therefore there's no dinaninus, because there's no plans on being kover the mace by Yom Tov Sheni. We'll see later on, at the end of the Siman, there's a Pischei Tshuva, which is also very negay of this.
So just a quick question. So then, is a goy allowed to drive a car that has the mace in it? Obviously, that would be okay.
Yeah, that may be, yeah.
So maybe there's a leniency where if the onin is in the same car or something.
Yeah, it's not so poshut. And these that are not so poshut. I know there are a lot of places that are making with that, and they let Avelim go in the car. I don't think the Moshe was happy with it.
Mehara Mele to the felt, but coming back.
Yeah, and then how do they get back?
How do they get back?
Going
and it could be outside of the tchum.
Yeah, how do they get back? That's a poshut. This whole kvura b'Yom Tov Sheni, you don't find it a lot these days for this reason. Most of the poskim today will not allow a kvura b'Yom Tov Sheni.
Well, because usually the felt is so far out of the tchum.
Yeah, because it comes out a lot of chil Yom Tov. A lot of chil Yom Tov comes out that way.
And that was Rav Moshe's svar.
That was a Moshe's svar, yeah. So if you look in the Pischei Tshuva, it's a Sif Cotton Chav Beis. It's an important Pischei Tshuva. It's talking about if someone dies in jail. So he says, I am a Shuvas Neid B'Yehuda Shav Jakasa, the Remokim Shenitin Hadas is a rule from the government. Shalai Likbar Miyad Achayavar Memches Shos. One's not allowed to bury a mace till 48 hours after the death. Still, Chal Aninis Miyad. Aninis is Chal Miyad. Now, even though you know for sure that you're not going to be covered with the mace for 48 hours, still, Aninis is Chal Miyad. So why is Yom Tov different? Yom Tov is saying that you know that one's not going to bury the mace till after Yom Tov. Therefore, there's Aninis on Yom Tov. Why is there Aninis on Yom Tov? Why is it different than if you know for sure there's a chayk from the city that one's not allowed to bury his mace for 48 hours? So the difference is, which is a very important difference, they were talking about a weekday. Now, even though you're not allowed to be kover a mace within 48 hours, but there's other tzorachei hameis, making the chrichim, getting things together, that one's allowed to do in the 48-hour time. On Yom Tov, the problem is that besides the kfura itself, one's not allowed to do anything else. One's not allowed to make tachrichim on Yom Tov. One's not allowed to prepare anything else. The kfura itself will matter on Yom Tov. Everything else is awesome. So therefore, if one is not doing the kfura, then we say that there's no aninis on Yom Tov, even though we said before that it's Shaykh and Ninus, even though you're not going to bury it for 48 hours. So that's where this machlekes comes from now. There's a big machlekes, Shach and Taz, Dagamavova. What's the halacha? The first night, Yom Tif. Someone has a mace, and let's say they're going to bury the mace on the first day, Yom Tif, or even the second day, Yom Tif. How about the night before? Is the night before, is dina ninus or not? So the machlekes Shach and Taz. The Shach holds there is a dina ninus because one's going to bury the mace on Yom Tif. We'll see that all the places can argue the mace we pass not that way. There's no aninus the night before. Why? Because we don't bury at night. So since there's no burying at night, so there's no aninus then the night before. You could do other things. No, on Yom Tov you can't do anything else. On Yom Tov one can't do anything else besides the kfura itself. So therefore, it's a machlekes of the aninus the night before. So look in the Shach, see if cotton test. For Kolshkin be up to Shein Shagolius, Shu Ba'atzma Yachal Lekovrei. When from the Spar Baruch Chaim Semitov Tzadivov Siv Beis. So check over there. You see all the halachas if what one's allowed to do or what's not allowed to do. Now, Maril Kosa B'Shem Arash Al Meish Shemeis B'Shmini Atzeres L'Eis Erev Shemuter Le'Ovel L'Kadesh B'Leil Simchas Torah She'acharov.
Where are you now?
The Shach Sif Cotton Test.
Turn back to the other page.
The Shach Sif Cotton Test. Right? Ubaril Kosa B'Shem Arash Al Meish Meis B'Shmini Atzeres L'Eis Erev Shemuter Le'Ovel L'Kadesh B'Leil Simchas Torah She'acharov Shum Ein Aninus B'Yom Tov. There's no Aninus B'Yom Tov. Ba'ayim B'Drisha Shabir Tamoy. What's the pshat? There is Aninus B'Yom Tov. The kivin the B'Yom Tov Sheini Hagim is the Litzvot Tachrichim. V'lach Bar HaKever. B'Shar Malachas. One is not allowed to do those Malachas. It has to be done only through a goy. When Shekosa Baruch Chaim Siman Tov Kov Kovav. Im Kain Ein Loi Multal Aleim Harbe. There's not much for them to do. V'lechein Ein Din Aninus Noig B'Layla Kiyem B'Yoyim. Only by day. There's no din aninus. Why not? Because there's not much to do. All one has to do is the kever itself, is the kfura itself. For that, you don't have to spend so much time. Everything else is usher. Therefore, at night, when the kfura itself is not done, therefore we are mater. There's no din aninus. Says a shach, the Marash was Svir Lake Rosh, Svir Lake Smag, the freshman Chesef, Amralov, Keshpaiskan, the Shas, the Don, the Chedek, Yushami, V'chal Indian, Eina Velis Noig B'Yam Teshena Fila B'Yoyim. He holds not that he holds no Avelis Noig B'Chlal, no Aninus, or Avelis. But okay, Mash, listen to Marash, Mashum, the Eina Avelis B'Yam, the Fiza, the Don, the Kamal, and Rosh, if can who are the Malayla, also the Kaddish. So Shach wants to say that the Marash that was mated to make Kiddush, B'Leil Shmini Atzeres, it's because he held there's no Aninus B'Chlal on Yom Tov. But that's the Shach holds. But if you look at the Dogam Mevava, well, let's first see the Taz Gimel. Choshkem B'Yam Tov Sheni Nira D'Hainu B'Yoyim Shehu's Man Kvura. Ava B'Layla Shelefonov D'Hainu B'Motze Yom Tov Rishon Mutter K'moy B'Yoyim Rishon. Because not as Man Kvura, we don't bury at night. We can't put in Maril Hilchis Yom Tov Shahira Marash Al Meis Shemeis B'Shmini. Someone that died, B'Shmini Atzeres, Shemuter La'avel Asas Kiddush Be'erev Leil Simchas Torah, Shem Ein Aninus B'Yom Tov. V'neiru Shem Mizeh Atam Pasach She'ein Derech Likvar B'Layla. We don't bury at night. So you see from over here, a big machlokes Shach and Taz. The Shach holds, even though we don't bury at night, still there's Aninus at night. And the Taz holds, no, we don't bury at night. Therefore, the only thing one could do on Yom Tov is do the actual kfura, and therefore there's no aninus at night. The Dogam Mevava, so if you look at the Dogam Mevava, it's Asal Kaddish, Ayim Magen Avram, Tavkuf Mem Ches, Yivka and Ches, Shemater V'chaylik. He argues on the Shach. And the Mishnah Berurah in Siman, Tavkuf Mem Ches, haskins that way that there's no aninus on the night before. So this is a very common child that happens if someone loses a relative Erev Yom Tov. So there won't be any Dini Aninus for sure not the first night, the first day, and the second night Yom Tov. The second day Yom Tov is already a big shiloh. So if we hold that there's no kfura the second day Yom Tov, then there's no din aninus either till after Yom Tov.
Simi, do you remember when Rabbi Kerzner's father passed away? I think it was on the second day Yom Tov. They had a levaya then. Do you remember that?
Vaguely, I think you're right. I hadn't thought about that, but I think you're right.
Yeah, he made a ruling. Anyway, I don't know. I thought you didn't remember the details, but
No, there definitely are. There definitely are, kfuras on Yom Tov Sheni. And probably in Rabbi Kerzner's case, they buried on one private bathhouse lawn, let's say, where you could walk and you could walk back. You don't have to drive. The problem starts when people drive.
Right.
That's where the problem starts.
Rabbi, in Eretz Yisrael, they do kfura b'layla. Would there be a difference in the halacha there?
Definitely be different, 100%. They tell do kfura b'layla be different. Yes, 100%. Yeah. But they won't do kfura b'yom tov rishon. So they don't do kfura b'yom tov. So it's not really the geya.
Yeah, never do kfura. Even
there's
Yom
never
there's no Yom Tov.
Never two day Yom Tov.
Right.
Yeah, but that's the main thing you have to remember, that during the week, even though there's no plan to do the kfura for a day or two, whatever the reason is, still there's a din aninus because you're allowed to do other tzarchei hameis. One's allowed to do besides the kfura. On Yom Tov, the only thing one could do is the actual kfura and not other tzarchei hameis. Therefore, if the kfura is not happening on Yom Tov, then there is a din. There's no din aninus on Yom Tov because nothing could be done on Yom Tov. Okay, let's see weiter. Is there anything important here? See 1 second. Okay, weiter. Sifbeis. Misha meis la meis b'Shabbos. Someone who had a mace, someone died on Shabbos. Yecha b'motzei Shabbos b'lo Havdalah. He's alive b'motzei Shabbos without Havdalah. V'lo yispalel. He shouldn't daven motzei Shabbos. V'lo b'boiker koydem kfura. He shouldn't daven before in the morning before the kfura. V'lo acha kfura. And after the kfura, then yispalel tefillah shachris. Im le'over his mana. If it didn't pass the Zman Shachris. Avol tefillah se'erev lo yispalel. He should not daven ma'ariv. Shekvar over his mana. He already passed his man ma'ariv. So the question is, if someone misses ma'ariv, so the halacha is he daven 2 shachrises. So here he missed ma'ariv, so why shouldn't he daven 2 shachrisim? Why not? At night, he had no chiv to daven. It's only when one has a chiv to daven ma'ariv, and he was oinus and he didn't daven, something happened, then he davens 2 shachrisim. But if there was no oinus, just there was no chiv to daven ma'ariv, so then he doesn't daven ma'ariv, then he doesn't daven 2 shachrisim. Well, the Indian havdalah, yavdil achar she'yikavar ha-meis. He should make havdalah la'achar kvuras ha-meis. So here, let's see the shach. Oh, we skipped the Ramah, sorry. We skipped the Ramah at the end of Sif Aleph.
Sif Aleph.
Yeah, Yesh Oimen, the Talmud, al Rabbi Muvik, Osa Lecha Basa V'yayin Kozman Shemutel Lefnehem. The Talmud, because Rabbi Muvik also has Dinei Aninus, certain Dinei Aninus. Okay. Fine, now look in the Shach Yud, Yesh Oimen, Chen Chosam Mechaber, that is Dinei Aninus for a Rabbi Muvik. Yud Aleph from Espal Shachar Shtayim, which Chosam Baruch Chaim Simukov Chesiv Beis, Yavdil Achei She'yikavar ha-meis, till when? Ad Soif Yom Shlishi B'Shabbos, Moshe Chosam Baruch Chaim Simukov Chesiv Beis. One's allowed to make Kiddush, wasn't allowed to make Havdalah until the end of Tuesday. But if one makes Havdalah not on Motzei Shabbos, there's no Besamim, and there's no ner. So you have to remember, no psalm, no ner, only Havdalah. Now, since they don't speak it out over here, but what happens Yom Tov? What happens Yom Tov? Someone had a mace that died on Yom Tov. So it's Matzah Yom Tov, he can't make Havdalah. So they can recover the mace the next day to Isra Chag. So what happens then? When does he make Havdalah?
Then you would say the same svara as Mariv. At the time, he didn't have a mitzvah. The only reason we allow him to do it, but if it's on the Shabbos scenario, is because you can be mashlim until Tuesday. If that opportunity isn't there, then you would say on Motzi Yom Tov itself there was no chiyuv.
So Sunday there's no din Havdalah Motzi Yom Tov?
Sumim there is. That's
Sunday.
right. There's
Sunday. No, Sunday.
Oh, Sunday.
So Motzi Yom Tov. Havdalah is just Motzi Yom Tov. That's it.
Havdalah. Yeah, I think so. I don't know. That's what was my thought.
So I forgot where this is. I should have checked it up. But Havdalah for Motzi Yom Tov, the day after Yom Tov, you can still make Havdalah for Motzi Yom Tov. For one day.
I didn't know that.
Isra Chag, you could still make Havdalah for Motzi Yom Tov. So if one for some reason did not make Havdalah Motzi Yom Tov, the next day you can still make Havdalah, but only one day. Shabbos, you have 3 days.
Right.
Because the first 3 days have Shachas the Shabbos before. But on Yom Tov, you have 1 day. The day after Yom Tov, one can make Havdalah. So it's Motzi Yom Tov, which is also a very common shiloh. Someone has a mace Motzi Yom Tov, they bury the mace the next day, then one should make Havdalah after Kvura, as long as it's still before Shkia of Isra Chag.
But Shavuos have a different din?
Pashtus not. Shavuos also only has 1 day. Even though it's Tashlumim, but Pashtus is only 1 day. Yeah. Well, I just saw something about that recently, about Shavuos. What was in the gay? It wasn't the gay of Havdalah.
Tachnan.
Oh, Tachnan Avada. Tachnan Yizicha don't say. Not a Shaila even.
Right, because you can be mashlim for 6 days after Shavuos.
Yeah, Tashlumim. But Havdalah not. I just saw something else. So I wanted to say, the same way Isra Chag on a regular Yom Tov. I forgot what it was. Okay, fine. So that's that halacha. Now, a few important halachas here. First of all, there's a Dogam Revav over here. If you look at the side of the Shulchan Aruch, it says Kivin Shebelayla. See the Dogam Revav? Maybe some of you have it on the bottom. Dogam Revav.
No, we don't have it.
Yeah, we do. It's in the Oitzer Mefarshim.
Oh, it's unfortunate. Got you.
Oh, yeah.
You see it?
Yeah.
So Dr. Mavama says, "Nira dafka b'zeh shemeis b'Shabbos v'lechal olav tefillas arvis about the Shabbos klal. Aval a meis b'layla. Let's say the mace died at night, an hour after it got dark. Shekvar chal olav chiyav tefillah kodim shemeis. Av she'acha shemeis l'hayachal lehispalel. Tzorach lehispalel shachar shtayim. Why? Because then one had a chiyuv to daven ma'ariv already. He glad he couldn't daven ma'ariv because when he wanted to daven ma'ariv, meis le meis. But since the chiyuv ma'ariv was chal on him already, so he has to be mashlim by shachris. Which is also very negay the shaila. Someone didn't daven ma'ariv yet, or didn't daven shachris yet. Let's say someone didn't daven shachris, right? Meis le meis. So if the mace was meis le meis before it got light outside, and he didn't daven shachris, he's potter from shachris, doesn't have to daven 2 minchas. But let's say he heard about it at 7 o'clock in the morning, or 8 o'clock in the morning, and he could have daven shachris, but now he's an oinin, he can't daven shachris, then he'll have to daven 2 minchas. Because there was a time there was a mechuyev b'shachris.
So what happens if let's say it's an hour after Shkia and then he hears, so he was Mechuyev Mariv, and the burial is in the morning, but by the time the burial's done, it's already after Shachris time.
No, but it's part of everything.
No, but he still is the Mariv.
Yeah, but Mariv is going to make up by Shachris.
I know, but if he can't,
so it's part of everything.
So he can't. So,
He's
so,
part of
so he
everything.
can't be mashlim.
Yeah, part of everything. Yeah, can't be mashlim.
Okay.
The Pischei Tshuva, if you look at the Pischei Tshuva, it brings down this as a shaila. It's an interesting Pischei Tshuva. Sif Katan Yud Ches. I'll go through it quickly. In Meisle Meis Belayla Kodim Shel Spal Tfilas Avos Kvar Giz Man At Tfilas Tzarich Ian. Im Yispal Lamocha Baboiker Achar Akfura Gam Tfilas Erev. Well, the Chayre Dami Zelem Ashkasav Kam Shachan Arach. Bemeis B'Shabbos. Al Sharisa Beishel Avram Baruch Chaim Siman Ayin Aleph Sif Katan Aleph Shekasav Im Giz Man Tfilas Mincha. Kodim Shel Meisle Meis. V'Nis Asak B'Kfura Ad Achar Arvis. Hela B'Shuva B'Yerdeisim Im Beis. The Einay Chayv L'Spal Avos Tayim. Why? There are ein hachiv chal olav, very important words. Ella berega achrein shel yoyim. There is man hakoydim lezeh ein boy chiv kol kach al the yoytze kishem espalel oz. It's a very lomdish machlokes over here. The Pischei Tshuva brings down that it could be, it's not called a chiv davar ma'ariv. Just because it's a giz man ma'ariv, it doesn't mean that I had a chiyuv to davar ma'ariv. I'm allowed to davar ma'ariv then. When's my chiyuv to davar ma'ariv? The last second of the day. But now I have no other choice but to davar ma'ariv. Ayin Sham came here to Rav Ma'aram. Ma'aram Ashal Srirulei the Chayiv Ayin Sham Akan L'Shem. It came as the Efshar Gam Rav Ma'aram Moed the Chayiv Espal Shachar Shtayim. But Tfilas Avos Chal of Chiyuv Miyavet Tzichavim. It says at the end, Shuv Matzos B'Dagam Mavav Shekosov Kain the Meis Belal Tzorch Spal Shachar Shtayim. So it's big machlokes over here. Alomdish machlokes. How do you look at the beginning of this man chiyuv? Is the beginning of this man mean I'm a chiyuv to davar ma'ariv now, but my chiyuv is the whole time? Or no, it's not called a chiyuv now. The last minute it's called a chiyuv. Now, if you want, you can be yetzi davening. Interesting machlokes. So the Maisa, I think we paskin like the Dagam Revava, and we hold, which is also not commonly known, I'm not sure why not. We hold that if one missed Ma'ariv, but the Meisle Meis after Zman that he was able to daven Ma'ariv, then he has to daven to Shachreisim.
Rabbi,
Okay.
I always thought that because Ma'ariv originally was a Tfilas Rishus, that there was no Tashlumim if you missed Ma'ariv.
No, if you saw Mr. Shachris,
yeah, there's it's just like if you miss Shachris?
Yeah. Okay, Ma'ariv is a bigger shah. Maybe Ma'ariv is no Tashlumim. Because Ma'ariv, since it's Rishus, so there shouldn't be a Tashlumim.
That's what I said. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought the halacha was that generally speaking, that Ma'ariv, there was no Tashlumim if you missed it.
Oh, there was no Tashlumim. I didn't have it. They said no, we pass with there is.
Uh-huh.
We hold there is Tashlumim for Ma'ariv if one missed it.
Already, the machlokah would then also come into what's with plug ma'ariv. Like if you start davening or if you can't daven ma'ariv before shkia, so the question is whether you have a chiyuv.
It's a very interesting question. What happens if someone's meisle meis after plug mincha?
Right.
Does he daven to shachreisim?
That's a question.
Interesting shaila. I don't know. I would say maybe it's totally in the person. If the person usually davens ma'ariv, then maybe yeah. I don't know. Interesting question. I don't have an answer to that question. Okay. Fine. Let's see. There's an important taz over here. See if you've gotten hay. If someone's being oisik b'tzarchei tzibur, u'chayotze boi, b'zman hatfila, shepotem mele hispalel, he doesn't have to daven ma'ariv. Moshekosav ha'torah mitzad l'gimel, u'metoicha eisik over zman oisik tfila, shegam kein ein tzarech la'ashliba b'zman tfila shachareha. Someone's a hatzalah member or a doctor, and he's being oisik with a chayla from the whole time ma'ariv. He couldn't daven ma'ariv. And then the next morning, the question is, should he daven two shachreisim? So he says over here, no. He's potter from davening two shachreisim because he was potter the whole time ma'ariv. So he's also b'mitzvah potter min mitzvah, and therefore he doesn't have to daven two shachreisim. Kivish Agam came as man Asik, how you put them at Filik Mabavelis. The Hacha, the Mali Oinis to Avelis, Asik Mitzvah. That's a Drisha. Says the Taz, well, Daiti Kolshkenhu. Takish is Asik, but Sarchet Tzibur. Sorry, this is what Lashna Drisha. Right? He says it's a Kolshkenhu. Takish is Asik, but Sarchet Tzibur, Gam came over the Avodah Hashem is Baruch Akam L'Shaydai. Whereas Asik, but Sarchet Tzibur, besides the fact, is Asik b'mitzvah pater min mitzvah. He's not doing his own thing. He's doing it for somebody else. Zicha, he's pater for Ma'ariv. He doesn't have to make up the Ma'ariv afterwards. Says the Taz. The Tama aniyim yatsu devarim elu mepiv da kolshu oynis mikri pater. Mitfila. Anybody who's an oynis. Let's say a person wasn't feeling well, so he couldn't daven Ma'ariv. He's pater from davening Ma'ariv. Overhead amr ba'oynis the mispalach chak if that's the case, every person who has an oinus, we're not talking about oinus who forgot. An oinus is someone who was sick, let's say. He couldn't daven. Or the case of the place can bring is with daven and mamelech. Someone was talking to somebody and he can't leave the meeting. So he's there the whole time of mincha. From the time of mincha, he's being Isaac with this meeting. He can't leave. So he's pater from his. So he's called an oinus and davens two ma'arivs. Why? He's an oinus. The two the cost of a truma tadeshna and heavy misha yitor etzlap kid. That is the case. Machmas choiv. But luckily part of elam kei behefsen mamoin u'toich kach ovez man atfila the mikri oinus after machmas mamoin hu u'masvala chach shtayim. Harelecha behed the after yipater me'oises shah atfila. He was busy with the kid, was the person who takes care of the choivis, trying to get rid of a choiv. And he's part of him davening at that time. Machmas tirda the mikri oinus more than machmas tirda the mitzvah. So the Taz says that any time someone is tarid, he's called an oinus. It's still is chayv davening over again. So the same thing as tirda the mitzvah. Vimke nistra das baladrisa bezeh b'pedushay v'had alamed din zemen avelus the hacha ein anidan daim l'raya lafke maptur ba machmas davar acher. He be'etzem could daven el shavelis by trasai b'zeh ein tashlum machakach. Masha ein kein im aptur machmas hatirda ein zukari aptur mitzvah atzmai el oinus to be'emes ef shalom l'espala. So he says the Taz, you have to understand the Taz's pshat. The Taz argues in the Drisha, the Taz holds that if someone has an oinus, or even if someone's oisik with tzarchet tzibur, he has to daven two Ma'ariv, the two shachreisim, he has to make up the field that he missed. The Drisha says not that way. The Drisha says anybody who's oisik with tzarchet tzibur is potter from davening at that time. So if you look in the Shach, in the Nekudas HaKesef, you have the Nekudas HaKesef by you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says on the Shach, Tom ala Drisha v'le kasha midi. And he explains, Adafke ba'oinish ha'chayiv min adin. Elamishum the oinus who potter din hachi. Dafka oinus, for example, someone is busy taking care of his chayiv. He's called the oinus. He's potter from davening. He has to daven over again. Avuk shlehoy chayiv min adin klal potter achakach v'hilkach. Be'asik b'tzarchet tzibur. Kivi the eina chayiv klal min adin. Why? Mishum the oisik b'mitzvah potter min ha-mitzvah u'b'zeh nitchu kol devaro. Shach has a very simple teretz to the Taz's kasha. The Shach says a very simple difference. Someone who's oisik b'tzarchet tzibur is oisik b'mitzvah, potter min ha-mitzvah. So he's potter from davening. If someone's an oinus, for example, he's busy taking care of his chayiv, then he's not potter min ha-mitzvah. He's not oisik b'mitzvah, potter min ha-mitzvah. He's an oinus, he can't daven. But he's not potter min ha-mitzvah. Someone who's oisik b'mitzvah, he's potter min ha-mitzvah. I'll explain to you a little bit better so you'll understand it more. Oisik b'mitzvah, potter min ha-mitzvah means that I'm doing a mitzvah, I'm potter from the other mitzvah, and there's a shayla in the Rishonim if I'm allowed to leave the first mitzvah even to go do the second mitzvah. Because why is the second mitzvah better than the first mitzvah? So oisik min ha-mitzvah, potter min ha-mitzvah means there's no din for me to go do the other mitzvah. Masha ein kein oinus. Someone is by a kid, right? There's someone trying to take care of his chayiv. He's potter from davening. If he wants to leave that and go daven, Is he allowed to go daven? For sure he's allowed to go daven. As a p'tur, that he doesn't have to leave what he's doing because the hefsin mama, he doesn't have to daven. So that's a p'tur. Isaac ben mitzvah, potter and mitzvah is a much stronger thing. When I'm doing one mitzvah, the other mitzvah doesn't exist. So that's why it says, if I never had a chiv to daven ma'ariv. That is the Taz's, the Shach Pshat, and the Shach holds the Maisa. I think that's the way Paskin. That someone who's Isaac ben mitzvah for the whole time of a tefillah, he's potter to make it up afterwards because he was potter b'shas the chiv of the mitzvah. Okay, right there.
I know that the many of the poskim write, if let's say for example you're involved in a case in the OR and it takes longer to daven and you miss mincha.
Yeah. Hello.
So they seem to paskin more like the Taz, that you should still do a tashlumin. Like that's the typical case. You're in an OR. You had in time to you thought, but the case went long. There were complications or things happened, and you were torud in that case. So I mean, this is I find this. Then we want to very very often.
I lost your middle.
That laser your screen keeps freezing.
Okay, I was saying that this happens very often in real life, and I received the psak that says that which seems to be like that we should paskin like the Taz. The case that I gave was you're in the OR and it takes longer and you miss mincha.
So there's two things there. First of all, you have to know if when you started was it already man mincha.
Right. So you started mincha in the afternoon. The case you thought was going to take 2 hours, but because of complications, you ran out, and it's a short winter. So,
right, so there's two things here. First thing, one thing you have to know is when you started in the OR, could you have daven ma'ariv before you started?
No, it's the middle of the afternoon.
Mincha.
Yeah, it's a short.
Oh, we froze again. Could I think it's from my end, the freezing, because everyone's freezing together. Could you have daven mincha before you start the OR?
You didn't have a chance. You didn't daven.
You didn't daven. Why? Because you could have daven.
I don't know. Is that it's a little bit about tchila b'pshia v'sofer b'oinus?
No. That's a dogma of over we had before. Even by Avelus, even by Aninus. It says my internet connection is unstable. I'm not sure why. Okay, let's hope it doesn't freeze anymore. We had before the dogma of over said. What?
If you turn off the video, then it might be better.
I'm gonna turn off the video.
In other words, if you just stop the video, and not the Rebbe, but everybody else, it might increase the bandwidth because the video takes up a lot of the bandwidth.
That's what happens here. If everyone's turning off the videos, okay. If you started the operation after you could have daven mincha already, that's a dog of Mavava we had before. The dog of Mavava we had before said, even by Avelus, by Ninus, that if the mace was nifter after that you could have daven mincha already, even though now you can't daven anymore, then you don't daven ma'ariv twice. So that's one thing. You have to know when you started the surgery. If you started the surgery after Zman Mincha, then you have to daven 2 ma'arivs. That could be one.
Okay, so that's right. So that's the psak that I know that we received.
But this Taz and Shach is something else. This Taz and Shach is talking about where you were in the OR from beginning of Zman Mincha till the end of Zman Mincha.
Okay, so that's a good clarification. So in other words,
that's one difference.
In the OR, and then you're Isaac. So then there was no opportunity to daven.
Right. So now, but that's one thing. No opportunity to daven. You have a Mechalik Shach and Taz, and even if you're going to say you did have an opportunity to daven, it depends who you're doing the operation on. If you're doing it on a Yid, then you may have a din of Isaac mitzvah. If you're doing it on a Goy, and even though you're mechuyev to do it as Eva, but it's not called Isaac mitzvah. It's a p'tur. it's a p'tur. You don't have to daven mincha because you're allowed to do what you'll be doing because of Eva. But I don't know if you could say it's oisik b'mitzvah patur min mitzvah. It's also a difference.
So Eva is not a mitzvah?
Not a mitzvah. No, Eva is not a mitzvah. Eva is not a mitzvah. When someone's by a kid, right?
Yeah.
The reason why he doesn't have to daven, he has a loss of a lot of money. It's a p'tur. He's allowed to miss mincha because of it. The same thing, taking care of a guy. It's not a mitzvah to take care of a guy. The reason why we take care of goyim also is mishum Eva. We have to do it. I don't know if you call that oisik b'mitzvah patur min mitzvah.
That sounds much more like the case of just a plain onus, not
right. That's a regular onus. You're patur from davening. Why? Because mishum Eva, you have to go ahead now and do it, and you're not allowed to not do it even. But still, I don't know if I would call that oisik b'mitzvah patur min mitzvah. It wouldn't be a p'tur as oisik b'mitzvah, it would be a different p'tur. It would be a p'tur onus, a regular onus. So that's why it could be they give a psak that if you didn't daven, you daven 2 ma'ariv. Because the only time you wouldn't daven 2 ma'ariv is if you were oisik with a Yisrael the whole time of Zman Mincha. That's the only time you would have a p'tur.
Right. So, okay, so it comes out well, because I know the psak that we were given was always to do tashlumin, in those kind of scenarios. So,
Right. So that's probably the reason why. Yeah, that's probably the reason why. But let's say someone who's on a Tzala call, right? And he was busy with somebody from the beginning of his man to the end of his man. It's not so pasha that he has to daven ma'ariv over again. 2 ma'arivs or 2 minutes, right. Whatever it is.
It's very unlikely. I mean, that he's going to be busy 6 hours. The much more likely case is he's waiting for his minyan at 6:30.
Right, that's
it's
correct.
Going to be night, and then the call comes in at 6 o'clock.
Correct.
And now he missed it.
So for that you daven 2 because of the dogam above we had before.
Because there was at one point there was a time of chiyuv.
Correct. That's right.
Right.
That's right.
So then he would fall into the case of more of an oinus rather than what we said.
No, it's not that he falls into the case of an oinus. He may have the same din of oisik b'mitzvah patur min mitzvah as the din of aninus. Right. He would be an oinus, correct. He's called an oinus because at the end he couldn't daven.
Correct.
Right. It's called an oinus because at the end he couldn't daven, correct. Okay. Sif Gimel. Mokim shenehagim sheketfayim miyichadim lahitzi ameis. You have the ketfayim is the people who carry the mace, and they are the Chevra Kadisha, that we have today. And they are the ones who bury the mace. Once you give it over to the ketfayim, to the Chevra Kadisha, V'torim hakrevim bebasar v'yayin, afilu koidim shaytziu me'abayis, even before they left the house, Yeshuv einay mutar aleihem. The whole din aninos is only because the din kvura, the top of the mace is on the person. But as long as it's not on the person anymore, he's finished, and there's no din of aninos anymore. Very important shach. Afilu koidim, afa pisha lechal adayin ha'avelus. Even though there's no din avelus yet till after the kvura, still now is in between. There's no din aninos, and there's no din of Avelos.
How does this work with the case of Nadav and Avihu? Because Nadav and Avihu in next week's parasha.
Meaning?
Well, Aaron Tana, they didn't eat the korban because they were aninos.
Yeah, but they were still isolated with him.
They weren't, because Moshe had them pulled out by his uncle. They weren't involved at all.
Yeah, they weren't involved at all. So we'll see now that does it bring it down here? Look in the Pischei Teshuva, see Karen Chav Aleph. Batar Makar Masav Yayim, Teshuva Neid Yehuda Tanina, Chelik Yudalid, Siman Yeresh Al, Mevi Rishami, the Koshkin Shechayav Mitzvah Zayin Sham. Oit Kas Sham Shechaychich Loimar, Hoden Nimsel the Ketfayim Hana Hana V'Mokim Shemalichin Ameis L'Mokim Rochoik, Ve'ein Oinein Hoylech Imohem. Aval b'mokoim shegam kroivim holchem b'shas kfura loy mahani mesira ayin sham tamoy. B'tam zeh v'hago b'mkamenu She'oinenim mamtinin l'espalel ad achar hakfura, av shekvar nispashru macher kadisha, bad mokem hakfura, v'nosam lehem moitzos v'tachrichim. Why? Kivin dem kamenu gam hakrevim holchem b'shas hakfura. The krevim go to the kfura. If the krevim go to the kfura, even though they gave it over to somebody else to do, then they're not Isaac anymore. They're still called Eininim until after the kfura. So I don't know what happened by Nadav Avihu. I'm not sure if they went to the kfura or not. Chesnish. They didn't go though. Kahanim, I don't know. Here. But that's why today's days we don't say you gave it over to the Chevra Kadisha, even though the person is not being Isaac anymore with the mace. Since the Avelim go to the Beis HaKfaris, so therefore till after the Kfura, there's no din there is a din of Aninus. Masha'enken, when it's given over to somebody, they go to a different city, which happens a lot, they go to Eretz Yisrael, and the Avelim stay behind. Once it's given over to the Chevra Kadisha to bring to Eretz Yisrael, there's no more Aninus, and we also start Avelus then. We'll see why later on, why Avelus does start then. But Avelus starts right away, even before the Kfura, Avelus starts. Hine says
Rabbi,
Rabbi,
what does the day look like when there's no Aninus and no Avelus? Like, what does a person do in those days?
So
if there's a time period where there's no Aninus and no Avelus, he doesn't
we'll see in
make.
a second. We'll see soon in Sif Hey that certain things that start by Aninus, it just says over here the mutarim akrevim b'basav v'yayin. But how about anything else? Are they also anything else or not? So let's wait and see till Sif Hey.
Okay.
Now we started the Siman. We said there's Aninus and there's Avelus. Now how about we're not doing Aninus and not Avelus? So what happens? So we'll get to Sif Hey. We'll see. Hago mokem shenoisen ameis meir leir and mokem karafu havik ilu muta lefanov. Aval imu mokem rochek agam halach shnei yomim mutin at shevoyu leir kvurasai. If the mace is far away, it takes time to come. There's no din aninus. Nothing starts till it comes to them. But once it comes within 2 days, then it is aninus right away. So today it's not really negeya. Today, when they have the mace, we're busy with the mace, even if it's a different place, a different city, busy bringing the mace over. So then this halacha won't really apply today. Yisif Daled, Misha Mace Betfisa, Vlanitin Lekfura, someone who died in Tfisa, and they don't give him a shus to have a kura, Lechal ala kroivim aninus. There's no din aninus. Why? Because says the Shach, Lekavina and Mutalafanav, Kim Vlanitin Lekfura. The only time is a din aninus is when they have to do kfura. They're not doing a kfura anyway, so then there's no din aninus. The gam avelus lechal alayim. There's no avelus either yet. Kivish lenisyayish u'melekayvroi, since they were miyayish from kfura. Meaning here also you have a case where you're in between aninus and kfura. There's no aninus anymore. There's no kfura going to happen yet, so there's no avelus yet. So you're in between. So what happens in between time? We'll see soon. If the craving of the mace on tfisa and aninus chalalayim. Someone was killed in the way. Or Chaya slept him. They shot for Nohar. But they're still hoping to get the body back. Ein ala kravim loydin aninus v'loydin avelus. They start counting Shiva and Shleishim from the day they gave up on burying him. This is all when we know for sure that the person is not alive anymore. All these cases we know for sure is not alive. In a case where we don't know if the person is alive or not, it's a whole different shaila. Let's see Sifka Tezvav in the Shach. Even if the Moshe wants a lot of money, we can walk him keeping them a mama and tell the Adam since it's totally mominous. Maybe later on they convince him to take a little bit of money. Because he's still hoping to do the kfura. Because of sinner to Klal Yisrael, Einai asuya libatel. We don't say that it's going to be mevutal. V'chola ha'avelus miyad. Avelus is chal right away because it's like he's not going to have a kfura. So these are cases where the person is not alive anymore. You know for sure he's not alive, but they're still waiting to bury him. Then it's in between aninus and kfura. If we're not waiting to bury him anymore, meaning we know for sure that they're not going to release the body, then the halacha is avelus starts right away because it's not going to be a kfura. Let's see Sifhei. I know it's already past 10 o'clock, but I hope that I have some time. I want to finish the Siman. Is that okay?
Yep.
Fine.
Yep.
So let's finish the Siman at least. As long as the mace wasn't buried, so here, there's a little bit of akdama before the sif. We start off the Siman, there's a din aninus and there's a din avelus. The pashas aninus l'chod, the avelus l'chod. We'll see here in this sif that it's not so simple because the pashtus, the Rambam holds that there's no din avelus till after the kfura. Before that, all you have is din aninus or certain halachas by aninus. The Ramban holds no. Really, right by aninus, right when the person dies, it's really chal all dine avelus right away. We'll makel in certain dine avelus because we want the person to be able to take care of the mace. And if you're going to ask him to wear shoes, you're going to ask him to sit on a chair, these type of things, he's not going to be able to take care of the mace. So we removed certain dine avelus while the person's in oinin. Now, it won't be an afkamina. So first of all, what's aser? And second of all, Manny, your question of what happens between aninus and avelus. Now, when someone's in oinin, he's part of mechala mitzvahs. If the aninus was lifted from him because he gave it over to the Chavre Kadisha, whatever it is, or because he can't get to the body now, he's mechuyev in chala mitzvahs, but there's still dine avelus that was around till now. So let's see, Sifhei, calls man shal nikbar ha-mace. As long as the mace was a nikbar, ein chaylis minal, he doesn't have to take over shoes, the sandal, the ein chay batifas haroish, he doesn't have to wrap his head around, which they used to do by avelus for kviyas amita. Aval also leishev alisha nagavimita afilu kfuya. He's not allowed to sit on a bed or lie on a bed or sit on a chair, which we'll see soon. There's no mechaber ramah that's matter for an oinin to sit on a chair. Where it comes from today, the b'shas aninus people sit on chairs, it's a big mystery. The Ma'aser Rov Olam is noyig that they do sit on chairs till after the kfura. And the question where it comes from, because the mechaber is mefurish, they're not allowed to. The Ramah doesn't argue. The Ramah is machmer. The Ramah says agav kolshkin also b'tashon shamita in that time. The Yesh Oimrim says the Ramah, the also b'rechitza, b'sicha, b'simcha, b'shayad b'shalom, b'taspeiris, u'b'malacha. Avo muter lotzais mipesach beisai. So the Ramah says you have all dine avelus, b'chitza, sicha, simcha, all these things are aser for an oinin. The mechaber is mashma that these things aren't aser for an oinin. Why? Because there's a din aninus and then there's a din avelus, two separate things. That's what the Rambam holds. If you look in the bottom, in the last Pesach Tshuva Chav Gimel, Yesh Oimrim the aser, Ayim b'Tshuvas Chasam Sefer Siman Shin Chav Dal Shel Kosav, the Gam Das Rabbi Seisef Kain He. Shakosav Eina Chayletz. Umid the Parit Hanish Ma'amina in the Chasurim. Dafka, this is mutter. You don't have to take off your shoes. Who Mamish Lashon Bein the Paris Tur Sha'osur B'Shar Dvorim. Ba'od the Kosav for a more V'yesh Oimrim. If he's not arguing on the Mechaber, why does he say V'yesh Oimrim? If he's Einoi Mefurish B'Divrei Habei Seisef, anytime it's not Mefurish in the Divrei Habei Seisef, then the Ramah writes that V'yesh Oimrim. Puts it in V'yesh Oimrim, because it's not for Furish in the Divrei Beis Yosef. So here we have, Sif Hay is a very important Sif. The way the Ramah paskins, basically, from when the mace is nifter, there's chal aninus, which means it's really chal avelus. The Rambam doesn't hold that way, but the Ramban does hold that way, and there are more passages like the Ramban that it's really chal avelus from right after the misa. There's certain things will makel. You're allowed to wear shoes. You're allowed to be yetz mipesach beisa. You're allowed to leave your house, and the reason for that is also in order to take care of the tzarchei hameis. And one is allowed to sit on a chair, which we hold, lie in a bed, which the person will speak about. And even though the Mechaber says it's also to lie in a bed, the person would say that today, that if people wouldn't lie in a bed, then they wouldn't have koiches. They wouldn't be able to be oitzik with tzarchei hameis. And that's why the matter to lie in a bed, sitting on a chair. Also, they say maybe the reason is because if you don't sit on a chair, you sit on the floor, it's much harder to be oitzik with tzarchei hameis. Anything that would get in the way of being oitzik with tzarchei hameis, we allow you to do. Even though the Mechaber says Mefurish is asur, for some reason today the minig is that it is mutter. I'm not sure why. I didn't even check. What does he write in the notes? Oh, it says over here in the bottom, in the notes, in Sifhei, the machzis hashekel, it says it's mutter, machzis hashekel. Argues in the Mechaber here. V'gesher achayim perek yudches maskir zois u'moisu shabishas achila l'yeshav agabe kisei. Talking when someone's eating, he shouldn't sit on a chair. Tzitz Eliezer holds the bechal oinen is also to sit on a chair. Okay, that comes from the Mechaber. I think the minute today is most people do sit on chairs. Okay, if one could be machmer, not to sit on a chair, it's better. Okay, so that's Sif Hey. Let's just see Sif Vav. Is that clear? Any questions on Sif Hey? Did I go a little too fast?
No, but just to be clear about my question again, if there's a particular time period when there's no aninus and no avelus, it's a very weird day because there's no aninus, which means there's no patur from saying brachas and all that kind of stuff. Right. And there's no avelus also, which means you could wash and shower and you could do all that kind of stuff.
No, because you can't do that. You took away that aninus means all that it means is that avelus starts right away. The shiva. Huh?
But I'm talking about a particular time when there's no, like in the shach in the previous over in Beis, shach yet gimel,
right.
In that kind of situation, that there's a short period of time when you say that there's no aninus and no avelus, then what do you say?
So what we're saying now is so what we're saying now is that so Chaldan Avelus. Yeah, here. Now I was trying to tell you was that right away, B'shas the Misa, according to the Ramban, there is Chal Avelus really. Right. We'll make on certain things that one could do in order to be Oisik with Tzarchei Hameis. Now if the person is not being Oisik with Tzarchei Hameis, so we take away those at Terim, but the Avelus still stays.
But isn't that avelus at the time of aninus, according to Ramban, part of the aninus? Isn't that like part of the halachas of aninus, according to Ramban, is all of these particular items that carry through and continue in the zman of avelus? So if you say there's no aninus, according to Ramban, wouldn't he say that also those things fall away?
Everything falls away?
I'm not sure that Manny, I would have argued that no, there's a din of aninus, but simultaneously there's also the din of avelus. Right. And according to the Ramban, the avelus kicks in. So even this shach, the truth is, the technical avelus did not start yet, but you still have any of the dinim that the avelus that a person would have. So following the Ramah, you would not be able to do all those things that the Ramah lists. So there's never a twilight zone.
Okay, I could see that.
But maybe there's no din to take off the shoes either. right? That was no didn't take off the shoes. Maybe he's mechuyev b'mitzvahs, but he doesn't have to take off his shoes yet. At that period, but the other dinim of rechitza v'sicha, maybe that stays also.
Uh-huh.
I hear what's bothering you. You're saying that you want to say that the whole aninas, everything should be taken off. Avela shouldn't start till after Kvura. But according to the Ramban, we do say that something happens right b'shas misa before Kvura. There is a Avela that comes in even before Kvura.
Right.
By Kvura, maybe there's more Avelos. But the certain
maybe that doesn't. Okay. And those parts wouldn't happen until after Kapura.
Right, maybe.
Yeah, okay.
Only those parts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's say Sivav. Hameshamer es a mace of Filush Ein a Meisoi. Someone is watching a mace. There's a shame for the mace. A Filush Ein a Meisoi, Potem a Kriyashma, and we call Mitzvahs Amuras V'Torah. Harishnayim, Zem Shamer, V'Zeh Koira. One watches and one says Kriyashma. Okay. I'll stop here today. I want to do the Bechina, but I guess we're not going to have time anymore today.
Are we going to learn Chol Hamoed or?
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't see why not. No one's going anywhere, right?
No.
So I guess maybe we'll start off next week. We'll go through the Bechina. Shouldn't take us too long. It's only 10 questions. And then we'll continue. We'll do a Siman Beis. Siman Beis is a big sugi in Ksubis.
Mm-hmm. Do you have additional shiurim to send to us?
Say again? We didn't get past Shir 10?
No.
Oh, okay. I'll send it to you. I thought I sent everything. Okay, I'll send you now after Shir 10. And hopefully we'll do Siman Beis next week. I'd like to do the whole Siman. If we could. It's a long Shachs and Taz, but it's a long Shachs and Taz. See what happens. Okay, we'll start Siman Beis next week. I'll do the Bechina.
Okay.
And I'll send out the shiurim. I'll send out everything. I thought I sent everything already, but I'll send everything to you already.
Chag kosher b'sameach to all of you.
Yeah.
Everybody have a good Yom Tov.
Yom Tov.
Semicha, everybody.
Enjoy Yom Tov. Yeah. Kosher and a healthy Pesach.
Amen.
Amen.
Kasher v'sameach.
Sion, you want? Okay, I lost. Okay.